not filmed in so long. I don't remember the last time I filmed. I don't remember when this video is going up, but what I will say is last week was the week that I didn't upload, and that was a whirlwind, so I know I didn't film then. I don't think I filmed the week before. And then I filmed Warrior Cats. Yeah, I filmed Warrior Cats a long time ago, so I'm pretty sure that's the last video you're gonna see. I don't know. But we're here now, we're filming. What's up, guys? My name is Moo. I am a college student who loves reading, and I'm here to share that love with all of you. Last week was kind of crazy because someone that I didn't know very well told me in person that he watched my videos, and I was just like, whoa, that's crazy. I mean, someone that I did know pretty well, who I've known since like, I don't know, fourth grade, is that right? Fourth grade, watches my videos. Hi. But someone that I didn't know very well also said that, and I was just like, why do you know who I am? And that was really fun. So even though I'm not filming, I am preparing for videos, I'm talking about my videos, I'm thinking about my videos all the time. I just could not find time last week to edit and upload and film or anything like that, and it was just, oof, it was a lot. But we have the summer ahead of us, guys. I got time to film, hopefully. My family's gonna be home, so maybe not as much, but I'm gonna be home. It's gonna be fun. I'm gonna try to film as much as I can, and ta-da! What I'm really excited about is I am halfway through my reading goal, and June hasn't ended, so we're not halfway through the year yet, which means I'm still ahead of schedule, and I'm glad I'm ahead of schedule because, ooh, that was scaring me for a while because I read barely any books in May, but now I'm on like my 4th or 5th in June, so we're picking things up. But enough about me. This video isn't about me. This video is actually going to be very serious, so again, want to push all of that out of the way really quickly because I don't want any of that crazy energy in me to be talking about this book. But yes, that is just how my past couple weeks have been. We got that out of the way. Let's continue. So this is going to be a 2-part series because there are 2 books in the series technically. You could buy them together, but I will be reviewing the books separately. The books are Mouse, both of them. The one that we are going to be looking at today is My Father Bleeds History. It is the first of 2. And it is one of the greatest graphic novels of all time. I'm sure many of you are aware of Mouse, but if you're not, I mean, you can probably tell what it is from the front. I know that I've talked about Mouse at least once on my channel, but I will go more into depth in these 2 videos because this is legitimately my favorite graphic novel of all time because it's so well done. And I've read it multiple times. I don't remember how many times, but I know multiple times. It is a book that will always have a place in my mind because I am thinking of it constantly because that's just what I research. And this is kind of the book that I compare other Holocaust books to. When I say that, I mean fiction depictions of the Holocaust because I never want to compare the writing of real survivors. I think everyone's voice should be heard. I am really just trying to get my hands on any memoir I can so that these survivors who are brave enough to share their story get heard. I want to make sure they're heard. But when it comes to anything on the Holocaust that is not created by a survivor, I always compare it to Mouse because Mouse is one of the greatest books of all time. Not even one of the greatest Holocaust memoirs, but one of the greatest books of all time. So yes, this is a graphic novel on the Holocaust written by the son of a Holocaust survivor who is interviewing his father about the Holocaust. You should read the summary to get a more in-depth view of that. Maus is the story of Vladek Spiegelman, a Jewish survivor of Hitler's Europe, and his son, a cartoonist who tries to come to terms with his father's terrifying story, and history itself. Its form, the cartoon, the Nazis are cats, the Jews mice, succeeds perfectly in shocking us out of any lingering sense of familiarity with the events described, approaching as it does the unspeakable through the diminutive. It is, as the New York Times Book Review has commented, a remarkable feat of documentary detail and novelistic vividness, an unfolding literary event. Moving back and forth from Poland to Rego Park, New York, Maus tells two powerful stories. The first is Spiegelman's father's account of how he and his wife survived Hitler's Europe, a harrowing tale filled with countless brushes with death, improbable escape, and the terror of confinement and betrayal. The second is the author's tortured relationship with his aging father as they try to lead a normal life of minor arguments and passing visits against a backdrop of history too large to pacify. At all levels, this is the ultimate survivor's tale, and that, too, of the children who somehow survive even the survivors. Part 1 of Maus takes Spiegelman's parents to the gates of Auschwitz, and him to the edge of despair. Put aside all your preconceptions, these cats and mice are not Tom and Jerry, but something quite different. This is a new kind of literature. It's a very powerful summary right off the bat. The summary pretty much nails it right there. It tells you exactly what goes on. It honestly, everything that I wrote in my notes was in the summary because this is just such a good book. This book is so well done that even when I was doing my notes, not looking at the summary, but reviewing the book, rereading it, writing down what I wanted to talk about, it all showed up in the summary, which I think is very telling of how good this book is and how much depth there is to it. There are some things I want to talk about regarding this series and the reaction to this series and how it's being banned from schools in the past couple years. However, I will wait until the next video to get into it. That video will come out next week. It'll come out real soon, but right now I just want to talk about what happens in the first book and warm you up to the horrors that this book holds. So Maus, like it said in the summary, cuts between Art's perspective, going and visiting with his father, getting into petty arguments, interviewing him, and the events that Vladek Spiegelman lived through from the 1930s up until the end of the war. There's an element of empathy that you could feel in this book that you can't feel in any others because, of course, for the other memoirs, you can feel sympathy for the survivors and be impacted by the horrors they went through, but seeing the mundane day-to-day things that Art has to go through with his father, you develop a sense of empathy that you didn't beforehand. You develop a sense of empathy that you maybe wouldn't in other memoirs. What I found interesting is I kind of saw myself comparing Vladek Spiegelman as an old man to Abraham Simpson. And I know that's a crazy comparison, of course, because the craziness and unseriousness of The Simpsons and Maus should not be going hand in hand. But take Abraham Simpson out of a crazy cartoon and just think about the characteristics he has as, a senile old man, and put them into Vladek Spiegelman as a layer. It's a layer of him. He thinks he knows better than Art. He's always arguing with him about things, petty things. He loses track of what he's saying. He loses focus. You can never really get a full story out of him because he just rambles. So this was a very, very long process to create Maus because of both the time and effort it took from Art Spiegelman, writing it and drawing it and all that, but also because it was really hard to get the full story from his father for many different reasons, but one of those reasons is because he was an old man who loses focus and rambles a bit. So there's that element of connection. I know that there is many people who have, older parents who are a little bit frustrating to deal with. And it's like, I love my parent. I want to be there, but sometimes it is so hard to spend time with them. And you can see that in this book. As for the history though, the history is very well done. It is very detailed and it is very graphic. Art Spiegelman doesn't disclude anything. And this is the less graphic of the two. It doesn't show Auschwitz past the gates on the last page. It is just their journey through regular life until life isn't so regular anymore. Maus isn't an extremely linear book. However, if we were to put the events linearly in linear order, you get to see how his parents fall in love. Their first son, who unfortunately passed away in the Holocaust. The life that they had before the Holocaust. Art's father, Anja, her family were millionaires. And you can see how money doesn't matter in this time, because if you were seen as unworthy by the Nazis, then money, status, personality, none of that mattered. And it shows that no matter how rich, no matter how poor, no matter whatever it is about you, if you were born as something that Nazi Germany did not like, you are not excluded from this. It shows the ghetto that Vladek and Anja's family had to endure. It showed the horrors there, how little they had to eat. It was uncomfortable and it was inconvenient and it was scary because they watched people die in front of them, but it wasn't yet the horrors that were to come. The look of anguish on the dying men's faces in this book, even though they're depicted as mice, the anguished looks on their faces are truly terrifying. Not, oh, you gave me a bad scare terrifying, but haunting within your soul, because these were real people. These are real people that are being memorialized in writing and drawings in a book so that they are not forgotten. It is one man's memory that was put into a book that keeps their memory alive. He didn't know their names, he didn't know who they were, but he saw what happened to them. And I think that is impactful. They may be drawn as mice, but you still feel human emotions come from them. At the end of the day, while you are looking at a page with mice, you're seeing characters that represent real people, and it's truly chilling. The scenes are detailed and gory and extremely impactful because these are real people that went through these events, and they sound so inhumane, but they happened. It's so upsetting, and it's gruesome, gory books like this that show you the true extent of the horrors of events like the Holocaust and why these things should never happen again. Now, the book ends with Vladek and his group of other Jewish people being caught. They were hiding for a while, but they finally got caught trying to leave, and the Nazis found them and they boarded them up and they sent them away. And on the last page we see the gates of Auschwitz. A lot of these events in this book, if you didn't know any better, you would probably say, oh, this couldn't get worse, oh, this couldn't get any worse, oh, this couldn't get any worse, but it does. And that's how I feel many victims felt. They were either unaware of what was going on, or they refused to believe what was going on. There were many people like that, and near the end, of course, a ton of people knew. Rumors spread around, they picked up on it, but at the beginning, no one knew. No one knew the horrors that they were about to face, and it's just terrifying to think about. That is part 1. I am going to wait until the next video to recommend this book to people, even though I'm just gonna say it here, I recommend it to everyone. But if this book was bad, it's gonna get a whole lot worse from here, and it's going to get very gruesome and very scary, and the horrors of the Holocaust are going to shine through each page. So I'm going to leave it here. If you liked the video, like it, comment if a memoir for the event like the Holocaust, if a memoir has ever affected you in any way, because not only would I like to hear that, I'd also like to see if there were any memoirs that I haven't read that I can put on my reading list. But that's all for today. Without further ado, this has been Moo. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye!